Thomas "Blackjack" Ketchum was a name that haunted the railways of New Mexico and Arizona. Originally a cowboy, he chose a darker path as a relentless train robber, leading the infamous Blackjack Gang. His career was defined by high-stakes heists against the Texas Flyer. With 9 confirmed kills to his name, Ketchum's luck finally ran out during a solo robbery attempt. He is remembered for his defiant spirit and his gruesome botched execution in 1901, which became one of the most infamous moments in frontier history. Henry McCarty, better known as Billy the Kid, remains the ultimate symbol of the outlaw youth. Orphaned early, he was thrust into the violent Lincoln County War as a regulator. Though legends claim he killed 21 men, historical records confirm 9 lives taken by his hand. He was a master of escape, famously breaking out of the Lincoln County Jail before being tracked down and killed by Pat Garrett. At just 21 years old, Billy the Kid's short, violent life became the stuff of eternal Western legend. Jesse James was more than a common criminal. He was a former Confederate guerrilla who turned train and bank robbing into a form of political defiance. As the leader of the James Younger Gang, he orchestrated the first daylight bank robbery in U.S. history. Credited with 12 kills, Jesse was often portrayed as a Southern Robin Hood, though he rarely shared his loot. His reign of terror ended not in a shootout, but with a cowardly bullet to the back of the head fired by his own associate, Robert Ford. Wyatt Earp walked the thin gray line between lawman and vigilante. While he is immortalized for the gunfight at the OK Corral-And tombstone, his deadliest chapter was the Earp vendetta ride. After his brothers were ambushed, Wyatt took the law into his own hands, hunting down and killing 15 outlaws across the territory. Cool under fire and famously never wounded in a gunfight, Wyatt Earp transitioned from a frontier marshal to a lethal seeker of personal justice, leaving a trail of bodies in his wake. Sam Bass started as a simple farmhand, but a thirst for easy money led him to become a notorious stagecoach and train robber. He gained fame for the 1877 Union Pacific heist, where his gang made off with $60,000 in gold coins. With 15 kills attributed to his gang's activities, Bass became a high-priority target for the Texas Rangers. His life ended on his 27th birthday, following a deadly betrayal and a fierce shootout in Round Rock, Texas, cementing his place as a tragic outlaw figure. James Butler "Wild Bill" Hickok was the premier gunfighter of the West. A scout, lawman, and professional gambler, he was a master of the quick draw, famously winning the first recorded face-to-face duel against Davis Tutt. Across his turbulent career, Hickok took 20 lives in the name of the law or self-defense. He was a man who lived by the gun and died by it. He was shot from behind in a Deadwood saloon while holding the dead man's hand. Aces and eights. Clay Allison, the gentleman gunfighter, was a cattle rancher with a hair-trigger temper and a deadly reputation. Unlike many on this list, Allison wasn't a thief. He was a man who settled disputes with lethal violence, especially after a few drinks. Credited with 22 kills, he once famously decapitated a murderer after dining with him. Despite surviving countless duels and shootouts, death found him in a freak accident when a wagon wheel crushed his neck, ending the life of one of the West's most unpredictable men. John Wesley Hardin was perhaps the most terrifying man in Texas. A preacher's son turned cold-blooded killer, he claimed to have killed his first man at age 15. Hardin was so volatile, he once reportedly shot a man just for snoring too loud. With 42 kills, he spent 17 years in prison where he ironically studied law. Though he tried to go straight as an attorney after his release, his violent past caught up with him when he was gunned down in an El Paso saloon. John King Fisher was the flamboyant kingpin of the Texas-Mexico border. Dressed in tiger-skin chaps and adorned with gold, he ruled his territory with an iron fist and a private army of outlaws. Fisher was responsible for over 50 deaths, often operating with total impunity. He was a charismatic leader who treated the law as a mere suggestion. His reign ended in 1884 when he and his friend Ben Thompson were caught in a brutal ambush at a San Antonio theater. Jim Miller, known as Deacon Jim, was the most prolific assassin of the Old West. A professional hitman who never drank or smoked and regularly attended church, Miller hid a dark secret beneath his frock coat, a heavy steel breastplate. This primitive bulletproof vest allowed him to survive point-blank shots while he gunned down his targets with a shotgun. With 51 confirmed kills, the Deacon was finally stopped not by a bullet but by a lynch mob's noose in an Oklahoma stable.